Hello everyone. Welcome to Confessions Jury, where people put themselves on the spot, waiting for your judgment. Sit comfortably and listen carefully, as you're about to hear today's cases. You hold the hammer and you apply the law. Let us have your verdict down in the comments section. As always, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Let's head on to our first case. Case 1. Am I the bad person for ending my relationship because my boyfriend prioritized his ex and didn't set boundaries? I, 31F, recently ended things with my boyfriend, 32M, because I felt like I wasn't a priority and the boundaries with his ex, F, were non-existent. I'm questioning myself now, so I want to know, am I the asshole for walking away? Here's the full story. When we started dating, my boyfriend told me up front that he loves his ex in a platonic way and that nothing would get in the way of their relationship. I accepted it, but I don't think I fully understood the extent of their dynamic. Over time, I started to notice things that made me uncomfortable. His ex relied on him heavily for things like housework and emotional support. She had a boyfriend at the time, but he wasn't reliable, so my BF stepped in to help her constantly. They talked on the phone every day, and at the end of most calls, he told her, "I love you." She would say it back sometimes. Recently, they started going to church together as a family with their son. His son is very important to him, and I completely understand and respect that. However, he often used his son as an excuse to justify the way he treats his ex. Anytime I brought up concerns about boundaries, he'd say things like, "I'm doing this for my son," or "I need to keep the peace for his sake," and the most overused one, "You do not have kids, you don't understand." While I understand that co-parenting can be challenging, it often felt like he was prioritizing his ex over our relationship under the guise of doing it for his son. At first, I tried to be understanding. I knew they shared a child, and I respected that. But it started to feel like I was a third wheel in my own relationship. It didn't sit right with me, but I didn't want to compete for his attention either. That's just not who I am. Then there's this situation with our homes. A few months back, my boyfriend and I were both looking for homes, as was his ex and her boyfriend. My BF and I found a home, and his ex found one too. We all agreed that living close to each other would make it easier for him to see his son. Her boyfriend couldn't come up with the money, so she lost the house. On top of that, she was also going to lose the apartment she was renting. She was basically on the verge of being homeless, but she had family who could help her. I also want to state, her son was more than welcome to live with us. He would have never been homeless. I bought the house, everything under my name. My BF helped me with a $10K loan. I put boundaries in place to protect myself. He was okay with that. I have always planned to give him this back plus anything else he contributes to in the home if things ended up not working out. Before she lost the house, my boyfriend asked her to come to me to borrow money. At the time, I was in the process of buying my own house, and all of my money was tied up in that. I couldn't give her anything. Honestly, I also wasn't comfortable with lending her money in the first place. I am a strong believer that if you are going to let someone borrow money, be okay with never seeing it again. Still, I didn't want to just leave her without options. I offered to help her figure out ways to get the money herself. I gave her ideas, like selling valuable items from her home, working overtime, or even picking up a second job. I genuinely wanted to help her figure things out, but I couldn't physically hand her money. Then came the request for her to move in. When her housing situation fell apart, my boyfriend thought it would be a good idea for her and her kids to come live with us for a few months until she got back on her feet. The problem? He had already had the discussion with her first. When he finally brought it up, I told him honestly that I didn't feel comfortable with that. I'm at work all night, and I don't trust people enough to have someone else living in my home, especially someone who already relies on my boyfriend so much, someone he had a sexual history with. I felt terrible saying no, but I also knew her family would have her back if she truly needed help. After I said no, my boyfriend told me that he was disappointed in me for being selfish and only thinking about me and how he did not want his son to be homeless. I stuck to my guns. He told his ex that I said no. That changed the relationship I had with her. I was now the bad guy. What happened recently? Last night, my boyfriend's ex ended up in the ER after being assaulted by her ex-boyfriend. My BF dropped everything to go to her rescue. I want to be clear, I don't blame him for being there during a crisis like that. It's a serious situation, and I get it. But it also made me realize how much he prioritizes her and how little boundaries exist between them. I couldn't ignore the larger pattern. She depends on him for everything, and he always puts her first. I constantly felt like I was sharing him emotionally, practically, and physically. I realized I deserve better. I need to be a priority, and I need a partner who respects me and our relationship enough to have clear boundaries with their ex. So, I ended things. He then left and went to meet her at the ER. I'm not angry. I wish the best for him and his ex. Maybe this push will help them get back together for the sake of their child. I'm okay with that because I know I'll be okay. Of course, it hurts to let go of someone I care about, but I refuse to compete with anyone for a man's attention. I trust myself. I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm smart with my money, and I know my worth. Still, I can't help but wonder, am I the bad person for walking away because I wanted clear boundaries and to feel like I was a priority in my own relationship? Was it unfair of me to make this decision after everything we've been through? What do you guys think? Lay down your ruling in the comments section and let's move on to our next story. Case 2. Am I the bad person for deciding not to go back to my fiance? So I'm 35F and my fiance is 39M. He has a 14-year-old daughter. Me and my fiance have been together for 5 years. His late wife died when his daughter was 5, and then I met him when his daughter was 9. His daughter never really liked me. I think maybe I came on too strong, or maybe she was happier the way things were before I came, I don't know, but I've always tried to her a friend, but she would never let me in. So about 3 weeks ago we told her I was pregnant. She wasn't happy, which is to be expected, she's a teen. The problem is she's gone around accusing me of telling her that this baby will replace her, and basically trying to get rid of her to make room for my kid, and I haven't told her that at all. His daughter and her friend had faked some messages between me and her, and it basically said that I was gonna let the baby take her room and that once the baby's here her dad won't care about her anymore. She showed them to her dad, and he was mad. We got into an argument and kicked me out. He sent me a long message saying that he couldn't do this anymore and that he didn't know I was treating his daughter like that and that we need to end things. He said I have a month to move my stuff out. A week after that, his daughter friend said that the messages were lies and that they were fake and that I never said those things. He then came over to my mom's house where I was staying, and he apologized and said that what kind of father wouldn't defend his daughter in that case and that I have to understand why he did what he did. He also brought back my ring as I have given back to him, and he said that he wants to be a family again and that he wants to raise our child in our home and together and not apart. I told him I needed time to decide. As of right now, I don't want to, because yes, I understand why you took her side, I understand why you kicked me out, but I don't understand why I couldn't even get a chance to talk or to show my proof, or to even explain my side, and got called degrading names. He just took her word and ran, and that what makes me not want to get back with him anymore. So would I be the bad person? What do you guys think of this one? Let us know in the comments section, and let's move on to our next story. Case 3. Am I the bad person for telling my father I don't really care about my half-brother? I'm a 30F, and my dad, 62M, has a child, 3M, with a woman who's only 5 to 6 years older than me, 35-36F. My parents divorced 13 years ago, so I don't care about him dating or marrying someone else, or even having more kids. That's his life. Of course, I thought having a child at 59 was pretty irresponsible, but it's already done. The child is here, and none of this is his fault. It's now up to my dad to figure things with him out, including his complicated relationship with the child's mother. The issue is that my dad keeps sending me photos of the child, constantly referring to him as your brother. I mostly ignore it because I don't want to fight with him over this. But honestly, it bothers me. I have no emotional connection to this child, no sense of responsibility toward him. I don't really care about seeing him, and when my dad says your brother, it honestly makes me cringe a lot. Recently, my dad sent me more photos of the child, and I responded with something generic like, "Wow, that's one big child." My father didn't bring it up at the time, but during our next phone call, he asked me why I didn't show any interest in my brother. I calmly explained that I don't feel any sisterly connection to him because I have never seen him, I live in a different country, and also partially due to the fact that, given the age gap, he could just as easily be my own child. I don't have any children of my own. That didn't go over well. My dad had a meltdown, saying that I was being disrespectful, denying blood relations, and refusing to accept the child as my brother. He then told me I can't say things like that and abruptly hung up on me. Am I the bad person for being honest about not being interested in the life of my father's child? You've sat down, you've listened. Now, it's time to state your ruling. What is it gonna be? Let us have it down in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe for more cases like these. In life, we may run, but we can never hide from true justice. Stay safe, everyone.